Welcome back to the blog. Last week, we left off with this pile of pre-packed supplies. Finally today, we are moving up to Turtletown. Here you can see Kayla carrying a cooler from the field closet out to the car. We moved all supplies outside before figuring out what spaces they could fit in the sedan.
We knew when we started to pack that our supplies would take up the entire car except for the driver's seat. Our strategy was to get the big coolers and larger supplies in first. Then we would attempt to fit in all the smaller items, and lastly, any items that were fragile.
It took some arranging and then some rearranging, but finally the car was stuffed with our supplies from trunk to passenger seat. With a full car and a full tank of gas, we were ready to move into our lab. Yay!
We are all packed up. Now I'm going to take the car with all the lab supplies over to Dunkin Donuts to meet Sam, where she's taking her car. We're going to get caffeine, and then we're going to drive up to Turtletown.
Vet students run on Dunkin', so of course we had to make this stop a priority. Dunkin', please sponsor us. Clearly, we are very happy about getting your caffeine.
And boom, just like that, we are 3 hours north of Champaign with our car already unloaded into Turtletown. This is the lab space we have for the entire summer. Now we start unpacking the coolers and organizing our drawer space first. Some materials we use every day can stay on the countertop, but everything else we store in drawers to keep as much counter space open as we can.
Slowly but surely, our everyday stations get assembled and the drawers are filling up. Next step is organizing our kits and backpacks. Each kit and backpack is set up specifically to increase sterility and productivity while we are out in the wetlands. Every item has its home. Make sure to keep an eye out for our What's in Our Backpack video coming next week. Like everything else in the WEL, this process is made much easier and faster with teamwork. Here, you can see Kayla and I teaming up to pre-make syringes for faster sample collection while we are out in the field.
Now, here's the final product. First is our microscope and hemocytometer station. Next is our PCV TP table. And then the big counter, which has our centrifuge and the many drawers filled with lab equipment. The drawers store syringes, needles, swabs, probes, Eppendorf tubes, and so much more. All of these supplies are essential for what we do every day. Finally, the last corner is our ESR and blood smear station.
Now that our lab is mostly set up, we make the long drive back down to Champaign after dropping the field car off at our summer home. Though the vlog will make it seem like we never left Turtletown, Kayla and I actually packed up all of our personal belongings and moved into our new house just the next day. After setting up our bedrooms at the lake house, we returned to Turtletown to get more tasks checked off our to-do list.
First item to check off our list is label our sample boxes. These are the storage boxes that organize our samples and are stored in the freezer until we can run further tests on them. Each box is labeled with what type of sample they are, the specific field site they were sampled in, and the numbers of samples inside. Next up is trying on our waders and finding the proper shoes. Waders are the new summer 2020 fashion statement if you didn't know. Though they are clearly meant for fashion, they also allow us to wade through the wetlands and be able to catch turtles without hurting our feet or getting soaking wet.
Putting on the waders was easy, but getting a proper fitting pair of boots was another issue completely. Kayla hunted and hunted and hunted for 2 pairs of boots that would fit, but didn't find the right pair until about the 30th time she tried a pair on. And I found my boots from last year, luckily, but unluckily they had collected large clumps of sand that I needed to scrape out by hand. In this video, clearly you can see me struggling to get the sand out of my boot so my shoe would fit comfortably.
And now, an impromptu wader fashion show starring your 2 favorite vet students. Next week, keep your eye out for my first time being out into the field and our first week of 2020 blanding season.